Hello, this is Gary Westby, Champagne buyer with K&L Wine Merchants, and today I'm here to talk to you about a very anticipated release from Champagne Louis Roederer, the 2014. I've started off leaving it in the foil for a very specific reason, even though you can see that I've already opened it and put a capsule on it, a stopper on it. It's because this wrapper is extremely important for Cristal. The bottle is clear, and the wines are very, very sensitive to UV light, and the reason they wrap it in that foil, that colored foil, is to protect it from basically from getting skunked like a beer would, like a Corona would, by UV light. So it's very important to keep your Cristal in its wrapper, or any clear bottle of champagne in its wrapper, until you're ready to enjoy it, like we're ready to enjoy this one right now. This champagne is a blend of 60% of Pinot Noir and 40% of Chardonnay from Champagne Louis Roederer's estate, their Cristal estate, which, even though it's spread out 1/3 each in the Valley of the Marne, which they call La Rivière, the Montagne de Reims, which they call La Montagne, and also the Côte de Blanc, which they call La Côte. These estates, these plots, are specifically farmed to make Cristal. And of their estate, they use their oldest vines, the ones that are planted the closest to the mid-slope, the really creme de la creme of their vast estate, to make this wine. The vintage wines are also, all the vintage dated wines from Champagne Louis Roederer are estate grown, and they're basically estates unto themselves. They know that they're going to use certain plots to make the Brut vintage. They know that they're going to use certain plots to make the Rosé vintage. They know they're going to use certain plots to make the Blanc de Blanc vintage, and they know they're going to use certain plots to make the Cristal. This year, they've moved the wood fermentation up to a full third. Well, they say 32%, basically a third. And that is something that they've been increasing over the years. And now we're not talking about small barrels here. These are mostly quite large uprights that they do the fermentation in. But I can't wait to try it. I love the 14 vintage as a whole. I love how classic it is. I love the energy, the brightness. It reminds me very much, the vintage as a whole reminds me very much of the 88s when they were young. It reminds me very, very much of also of the 04s, and I think it's going to end up being something between those two. And also this style of cool, electric, energetic, not super ripe champagne is really on the endangered species list, with hot vintage after hot vintage, in the pipeline. So I've been telling everybody, and if you've been watching these videos, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, buy the 14s. If it might be true that the 15s and the 18s are getting bigger ratings, but don't worry, there's plenty of vintages like that in the future. Not so many vintages like this. So let's give this guy a try and see what it's all about. So I just opened it. I haven't tasted it. Just wanted to not fight with the foil on the video. So immediately we can see really, really nice, bright, just slightly straw tinted color. Very, very clear. Beautiful fine mousse on this. Just gorgeous bubbles. And wow, you just get clean, chalky electricity, white flowers, white fruit. Even though it's 60% Pinot Noir right now, it's that 40% of Chardonnay from the Côte de Blanc that's just jumping out. Oh, but they nailed it with the texture. That third of oak, the old vines, really allowing for gorgeous, gorgeous texture in this wine. Wow, and the length is just, it's off the charts. This is really special stuff. It's not inexpensive by any means. Its aging potential is almost limitless. If it's within your means, by all means, try some of this, and better yet, put it in your cellar for the future. A toast to you. Until next time, when we can do this together in person.